Morocco has done the impossible by making it to the World Cup semifinals, but they have also done the impossible by replicating Diego Simeone's Atletico Madrid side. Trying to play like a club side has worked for some international teams before. Spain were basically prime Barcelona back in 2010, and they won the World Cup with a core of mainly Barcelona players. Germany in 2014 were also featuring 6 Bayern Munich players in the lineup and played an extremely similar version to the 4-2-3-1 that Pep was using at Bayern Munich at the time. Kinda crazy how Pep managed both club teams that basically went on to win the World Cup. Playing like a club team as an international team is extremely hard, with club football being much more complex due to the teams having a lot more time together and the club managers able to instill a complex system that can take a lot of time to put into place. If your international side can play like a club side though, it does seem to work pretty well. The problem is that almost every national team doesn't have enough players familiar to the system, like having half your starting lineup play for Bayern Munich, or having the exact right pieces to replicate the club system, like having the right coaching and the right players to make it work. But surprisingly, Morocco were able to do this. So who are Atletico Madrid? You may have heard of them before, or you may have not. Atletico Madrid have consistently been within the top 3 teams in the Spanish league, alongside Barcelona and Real Madrid for the last 10 years. In that time, they have done what is thought to be impossible, which is winning the Spanish league ahead of Barcelona and Madrid. They did this once in 2014 in spectacular fashion, and most recently in 2021. But Atletico Madrid hasn't always been this good, and a lot of their recent success is due to their longtime manager Diego Simeone. Simeone instilled a style of defensive football at Atletico Madrid that even the best teams in the world have trouble beating. Simeone has instilled a culture and a mindset into his players of intensity and discipline. Going up against Simeone's Atletico is like going up against 11 gladiators that will defend their goal with their lives. Atletico Madrid's style is trademarked by a compact, incredibly tough to beat defensive block, with a hard-working team that will play ruthless defense and then hit you hard on the counterattack with speed and creativity. Atletico Madrid play this defensive style because it's very low risk, and most of the time this style means allowing the opposition to have more possession of the ball. The comparisons between Atletico Madrid and this Morocco side are uncanny. After Morocco beat Portugal, Morocco's coach Walid Regragui stated that they played a game similar to that of Diego Simeone. Morocco's hero goalkeeper Bono also stated after the Spain game that they wanted the Simeone style. It's clear that the players as well as the coaches have an understanding that they are trying to replicate Simeone at Atletico with these heroic defensive wins over bigger teams. But this team also has many tactical similarities to that of Atletico. Morocco have used a 4-3-3 formation that turns into a 4-1-4-1 in defense for the entirety of the World Cup so far, and this is where the biggest differences from Atletico come. Simeone is known for his 4-4-2 compact block when his team is defending, and more recently a 5-3-2 formation. But Atletico have deployed the 4-1-4-1 in a few scenarios, one of which came on October 1st against Sevilla. And if you look at the Sevilla lineup that day, both Morocco's starting striker and keeper were playing for Sevilla as they lost 2-0 to Atletico. Simeone has also used this formation against 2 good La Liga teams in Barcelona and Real Sociedad in the previous season, and it's not totally clear if Regragui adapted this formation because of Atletico, but we can use this game from Atletico this season to see how almost identical systems work. Atletico's main defensive system revolves around space. The Atletico players try to occupy and mark the space in the field rather than a man-marking scheme. This is why we see Atletico strikers occupying the space where the opposing team's pivot is to prevent easy ball progression through the middle. The central midfielders are key to the system, as you need an intelligent and hardworking midfielders to properly deploy the system. The 2 midfielders will look to occupy the half spaces in the midfield, where the opposing midfielders will look to gain the possession and drive the ball down the pitch. You can see just how great of an understanding the Atletico players have an understanding of space under Simeone, because you will often see the midfielders pushing forward to press at exactly the right time, bending their runs perfectly to prevent the ball movement into that free space that they're giving up. Morocco is very similar in this regard. The football purists did a great breakdown of their defending system and their understanding of space, and I will link his video below if you're interested. Basically, Morocco have a similar midfield profile to that of Atletico Madrid, with one tournament breakout star, Unahi, being exceptionally good at bending his runs, moving up and down the pitch to prevent ball movement into his space. In the other midfield spot, Morocco would rotate between Sabiri and Amala at the halfway point of each match to keep fresh legs in midfield, and both were in top 3 in interceptions per 90 for this Moroccan side. Probably the first thing you'll notice about Atletico in any match is their compactness when defending. Their compactness is both vertical and horizontal, as they maintain an extremely tight shape that makes it very hard for teams to play through. This is not unique to Atletico, as many defensive systems use this approach. Morocco's shape is very much compact as Atletico's. Atletico look to maintain the shape as the opponent moves the ball around the pitch, and you can see that this Morocco side is also looking to maintain their compactness as their ball is moved from side to side. This was key in preventing the key players on Portugal, Belgium, and Croatia from accessing the middle of the field and forcing them to progress the ball on the outside of the pitch. A key feature of this 4-1-4-1 formation is the lone holding midfielder. This system would fall apart without a solid holding midfielder, as the holding midfielder is responsible for the center of the pitch right in front of the defense. This central space in front of the defense is an incredibly dangerous position for the opponents to have possession, so it's key to have a holding midfielder that's able to hold down the most important space on the field. Atletico have used Axel Witsel in this role this season, who has had one of the best seasons of his career under Simeone. You can see Witsel moving from side to side with this Atletico team, making sure that the opposing midfielders and forwards can't receive or move into the central space easily. Easily the biggest breakout star of this tournament so far has been Morocco's starting holding midfielder Amrabat, who's consistently seen breaking up attacks, intercepting the ball, and dictating the Moroccan team while defending. Similar to Witsel, he is often seen moving side to side, protecting the central space in front of his defense from the opponents. His role in the system has allowed him to shine, and has really shown just how good his defensive abilities are. It's no wonder why many top-level clubs are looking to sign him after this tournament. Because the compactness of Atletico prevents easy ball access to the middle of the field for their opponents are forced to progress the ball to the outside of the pitch. Simeone's team will then swarm the players in possession on the sides of the pitch, using the sideline as an extra defender. This tactic is extremely effective at forcing turnovers, and is especially useful at a World Cup where a majority of the play is down the wings. At this World Cup, we saw many teams starting attacks on the outside of the pitch and then delivering crosses into the middle. This is because at an international tournament, complex attacking ideas and tactical patterns aren't as present as they are at the club level. Finding space on the outside and crossing it into the middle is a very simplistic way for teams to attack, hence why it is adopted so much at the World Cup. Morocco have also employed this pressing tactic, which is also very effective due to their best players being positioned on the outside. You can see the Moroccan outside midfielder, as well as their adjacent central midfielder and fullback, pressing once the ball has gotten into an outside position. Morocco were very successful at presenting quality deliveries into the box, and this pressing tactic did a great job at winning the ball back for Morocco, and was one reason why their defense was so effective during this tournament. While Atletico have become one of the best teams in the world due to their defensive performances, their attack is also incredibly effective. Atletico's main form of attacking creativity comes from counterattacking, which makes sense given they are a defensive-oriented team who doesn't look to hold much possession of the ball. Once Atletico have won possession in their half, they look to spring their wide players down the wings and use their creativity alongside their forwards to create chances on goal. A common Simeone trend is to use speedy wingers with great dribbling ability to get down the wing once possession has been won. Carrasco and Llorente have been extremely effective on the flanks for Atletico this season, and are both very good at creating chances for their Atletico forwards. Looking at this Morocco side, Ziyech and Boufal are both ideal wingers for such a system. Both are very effective at dribbling and keeping possession once the ball is won, and the pair are ideal creators, sending in crosses and progressive passes to the Moroccan forwards. We saw Boufal and Ziyech go on incredible runs down the wing, and then send in dangerous crosses for the Morocco attack to get on the end of. Ziyech and Boufal also have incredible passing ranges, and both can ping crosses to opposite sides of the fields to each other when counterattacking to take advantage of the open space on the other side of the pitch. Of course, both also have to be disciplined to get back on defense, and we saw both working hard to maintain a balance of defending while also going forward. The current meta or tactical trend across the football world is high pressure. We saw many teams at the World Cup adapting a style of high pressure, and it can cause teams problems when building up and starting attacks. Atletico are a great team at playing out of pressure, as we often see quick triangles forming as Atletico try to quickly bypass the press and look to hit teams when they are caught out pressing high up the field. Morocco adopted a similar style when playing out of pressure, as we saw Ziyech and Hakimi on the right side, Boufal and Mazraoui on the left side, alongside the midfielders playing quick combinations and making smart runs to beat the opposition's press. We saw this especially against Canada, whose high press was caught out on multiple occasions by these quick combinations. With these triangles that form playing out from the press, Simeone's Atletico also looked to use these triangles further up the field, again utilizing the outside midfielders, the fullbacks, and adjacent center midfielders to make these triangles for easy combinations. You can see against Sevilla, Atletico would make these combinations on the outside and get players in behind to the byline to put in a cross for players in the box. Morocco used this combination a ton during the World Cup, with Hakimi and Ziyech often combining with Unahi to get a runner in behind and put in a dangerous cross in the middle. We saw this a ton against France, as Morocco looked to overload that right side, get a player to the byline, and get crosses into the box. However, Morocco was very unlucky not to convert on any of them. This Moroccan side won the hearts of many with their incredible run at this year's World Cup. Their manager and team deserve the praise of how well they performed and how well they were able to emulate Diego Simeone's Atletico Madrid. Morocco's manager Walid Regragui deserves high praise for being able to implement this style in such a short time frame, and I'm sure we'll see him on the move to a big club in the near future. This is a great sign for how well tactically teams are progressing, even at international tournaments, and I hope to see teams similarly tactically advance at the next World Cup.